to Media Mama TV. I'm Alicia Cutting, and with these lovely ladies, we are here for Info, Inspo, and Convo, because there's always something to say about everything. And so, talking about speaking, we have this thing in social media that has become the apology tour. It's like a social media apology tour where people who have reached pinnacles in their careers do something wrong, and then all of a sudden we get the Facebook Lives, we get the Instagram Lives, YouTube Lives, and going on TV. Hi, Bella. And so what's going on? Like right now, recently, a relationship guru, and you know our last show was about relationships, relationship rules. Well, there's a relationship guru, I will say a self-professed relationship guru, whose name is Derek Jackson, and he's making a lot of social media noise right now, and the comments are going all over the place because he cheated on his wife maybe a few times. And they went on TV together. We have Kirk Franklin, who went doing his apology tour because his son caught him, recorded him making some really disparaging comments. So what are we doing? It's like, do you feel the need as a superstar or not? Is it really necessary in today's society to go on social media with your apology tour?
Well, I want to step back a little bit and ask the question of this. Something that bothers me is, before social media existed and before we had instantaneous updates on everybody's life, was the apology tour as necessary? And I'm thinking back, because all of us here were around before social media, and I'm thinking about how people did apologize, but it was very orchestrated and it happened at a slower pace. So have apologies increased since the advent of social media? Are people over apologizing? That's a question I have. It feels like people are apologizing for every single thing they do. Look, people were cheating on their spouses since the beginning of time. And I don't know, if people weren't caught nowadays, if they would actually apologize. So I'm thinking in particular of John F. Kennedy, who was notorious for cheating on his wife, if we look in history books. But at the time, people were able to keep that kind of stuff under wraps because there wasn't the immediacy of social media. And so I don't recall him ever apologizing.
Okay.
So what I'm saying is, I guess my question is this: would people apologize so much if they knew that they could get away with it?
No.
That's what I want to know.
Absolutely not.
They would do it to their spouse or whoever they, offended. Right. But not to us.
Yeah, because there's so much outside pressure, and so much judgment, and people were compelled to apologize, as if they're not just apologizing to the person they've offended, but to the world for having made a mistake. If that's taken lightly or not, I don't mean that to be, because cheating is pretty heavy. But I don't think. I think that an apology actually is only really meaningful to the person who you offended.
And now there's so much chatter. Everybody has an opinion. Like if you're in the public eye, everyone has an opinion about it, where people may have before, but now you're hearing it. And, we all have our egos. We all want to be liked. It's just human nature. Yeah, and so constantly people not liking you anymore, having opinions about things that you did, there becomes this almost innate need to protect yourself and to defend yourself.
Now, interesting, because if you're talking about like the regular person, okay, they did something that was not contrary to their brand. Like if I'm, not me literally, but if said person is a motivational speaker on relationships or on a topic, whatever that is, and they do something that is very contrary to that, does the public deserve an apology, or are they like, listen, I bought 10 books of yours and you're going to tell me now that you were not doing the opposite,
Yeah, their credibility has been challenged.
Right, and that's when the grace also comes in together with them too, like we need to understand we're all humans. We're all going to make mistakes. We're all going to fall short one or the other, either in the cheating area, either stealing, either lying. There's so many different levels of dishonesty and a way that you can hurt your either your partner, friends, or coworkers, whoever, right? I think it is necessary, an apology, I don't think is necessary public apology. And it does also depends, is that person a celebrity? Like you said about famous books. I have 10 of your books.
Yes.
I don't know. It really depends because, you know, it's just like, you know, if you look up to someone that they have encouraged you and helped you in your life, and then they, some people take it like, oh my goodness, this, you know, and it's, people run a lot on emotions. Like sometimes we need to be like, okay, stop, time
Okay,
out.
now let me ask you a question. Now, Dana, you work in PR, so crisis communications, public relations, that's like your gig. That's like what you do.
Right.
So do you feel like that even makes a difference when it's of someone who's, again, of a higher in the public eye, let's say?
Yeah, so I'm always like switching hats, right? Like I have Dana's personal opinion about things, and then I have like the woman perspective. Like I always have these different perspectives. But with this, from a PR perspective, if you are a famous person, or if you're an author like this guy is, where people are following you for relationship advice, and now your personal relationship issues are, out there. Are you required to say something? Not required, but should you say something? Yes, you should say something. But the thing is, the way, like, he clearly has no, like, PR
team.
Yeah.
So, like, the thing is that there's a way to do it, and you don't do it repeatedly. You say what you have to say, usually in a state where you're not getting a lot of questions, and then you just sit back and leave it at that. And a lot of time we'll go into preparing a statement so that it's, it hits all the points that you want to hit. It answers any questions that you want to answer. And then you just step away from it. The whole idea is you want to address what happened, and then from that point, build back your image, not continuously stay focused on the same thing, because other people will stay focused on it.
Yeah. And that's a good point that you share right there, that, make a statement. I follow a lot, Ramsey, he's a financial, but more in a Christian-based financial advisor. And he actually had another person who worked with him. And I guess he had like some kind of a misconduct, and most likely they had to let him go, even though they helped him out with therapy and all that, and counseling and all that. And he did exactly what you just suggested and said right now, Dana. It's make a one-time statement. This is what happened. You don't have to go into details, but you can very
succinctly,
and professionally, just say what you have to say, and let them run the show, and you run your way, and that's it.
And I like what Alika said, because prior to the social media and the instantaneous nature of it, I mean, okay, so, and I'm just speaking right now in the second about Mr. Jackson and his wife, who both were on a particular live video, multiple live videos together. And then again, contrary to what Dana and her expertise would suggest, did several other ones and follow-up ones. And the instantaneous nature of the social media world is that people they went live. So you're live seeing comments, and they're trying to comment on comments that are coming up. But like you said, prior to social media, we might have had a statement in the press, and that was it.
Yeah, well, one of the keys to that, however, is revenue stream. I'm sure that
100%.
It's kind of like, well, let's milk this thing because we can make money, because you might lose certain people, but you're going to gain other people. So it's their revenue stream as well. So I don't know this woman, but I'm sure she's not upset with the fact that he might make money off of this. That sounds terrible, and I apologize.
Hands off that one.
Yeah, I'm just saying, I don't know her. I
don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either, but I mean, it's all anybody who makes their living on
social media and stuff.
On social media, it's a revenue stream. So
Well, the end of every video he does, it's a book promo. The end of every video ends by my latest book, where I talk about such and such. So
it's a big contradiction in his book right now.
And what's kind of
like, you should let go of that book right now. Lay low on the book right now. But the apology tour thing too is what I found recently, I would say within the last 4 years, is people, use apology tours to say whatever they want to say.
Mhm.
It's like to say something egregious and horrible so that they come back and say, well, I'm really not that person. I'm sorry. I didn't know that I was offending anybody. Well, but it's kind of like a dog whistle to people who think like they do. So it's kind of like, oh yeah, this guy, he's obviously a neo-Nazi. So we all hear him, but other people will be like, oh, that's horrible. And he'll be like, I'm not that person. I didn't mean it that way. I didn't know that was a word that was offensive to people of
and
color.
even recently, and Gina, right on cue with that was the, oh God, what was he? It was as the women were kneeling, it's March Madness, as the women were kneeling. And so the announcer,
yes,
he said, oh, okay, he did some really offensive statements.
It was high school.
Thank you. I didn't remember exactly. Whatever.
No,
and talking about his apology tour included, well, what was it? He had diabetes.
Right. So he was like, his blood sugar was like, yeah.
So go get a candy and come back again.
I know. And stop calling people the N-word. So every time your blood sugar crashes, you're going to call somebody the N-word.
And during his tour, exactly. And so as he was saying, well, I really, I'm just loosely paraphrasing here, that he didn't really mean that. And I'm like, listen,
you meant it.
You only say what's in your heart. I don't care if you're drunk, high, diabetic, convulsions, or whatever.
It's like, what's in your heart, right?
You're not going to say it.
Right.
Dude, hot mic.
And we've all been in media in different regards, be it radio, TV, obviously this, and other things in life. I mean, Alika is a performer. You may be on set somewhere, but there's always somebody who's either recording something.
Always somebody listening.
Always.
And that goes as far as, not sending your significant other anything less than you in a bikini. We'll just put it that way, because I know in my life, because I'm the only Alika Hope in the US as of the last checking, like if you Google me, right, for whatever, there best not be some like naked video up there that I didn't know about from 1992. There isn't, because it doesn't exist, right? So it's partly you have to think ahead of what are the repercussions of me doing this in this moment. And I wanted to comment on the announcer in the high school basketball game, because I actually was really watching that. And those girls, and they weren't just Black young women, also they were white young women that on that basketball team, and they all agreed to kneel for the anthem. And whether or not you agree with that, the bigger issue is that they were standing up for their rights as an American. And I was proud of them for doing that, regardless of what the content was.
Politics, right?
Right.
And the bigger issue is that announcer should have had someone, or he should have stepped back and said, even if it was my diabetes, even if it was, that is the most asinine thing to say. Even if it was, you could have just said, I screwed up, I'm sorry, I'm blah, blah, blah. So you make yourself sound even worse by even saying the diabetes, right?
I think
just step back and think before you apologize, please.
Right. But if he faced what he said and took responsibility for what he said, then he would have to recognize to the world that he's a racist. Do you know what I mean? So it's kind of like, well, if I can put it off on my illness, I'm not a racist. I was just out of my mind. No, you're a racist and you were out of your mind, if that was the case. But it wasn't the case. He was not on, I heard his comments. He was not on some kind of diabetic tear. He was angry about them kneeling during the anthem. That's what he was angry about. So, but I find that even Klans members, and I'm not joking, this is for real, even Klans members will not call themselves racists.
Yeah, I think that is ludicrous.
They will never say, they'll say, I'm not a racist.
I just believe in empowering.
But don't they really internalize that they're separatists, not racist?
Absolutely.
I'm not defending the KKK, but this is I'm just saying you can't, your brain can be manipulated to such an extent that you truly believe that you're a separatist and not a racist.
But they also believe that they're superior. They also believe that their particular thing is superior. So they are separate. So I do hear what you're saying. I mean, some people, I'm sure, but whatever. But the apology tour, I don't know. It's overused. I hope I never have to go on one.
You know what?
How about you guys don't screw up? Don't screw up. That way you don't have to apologize and
I'm
go
thinking
and look stupid.
right. And
Exactly.
if any of us, or if you out there who are watching ever needed to go on an apology tour, Dana Swinney PR. Dana Swinney PR. Okay.
Go get her.
She's the bomb. Okay.
Let
Not
me
that
tell
we know
you,
personally.
Well, I gotta tell you,
We have
story.
not been on an apology tour.
Dana,
Yeah.
I hired Dana for a project a couple of years ago. And one day out of the whole project period, I was not hopeful. And people rely on me to be hopeful. I was just not hopeful that day. And Dana said, Alika, you don't need to apologize for that. People understand that you're human. So I didn't apologize, and I was hopeful the next day. And Dana saved me from an apology tour. Thank you, Dana.
Wow.
So we have learned today that if perchance you have to, if you are known for topic ABC and you screw up in topic area ABC, then an apology tour might be necessary for your constituents who have purchased your product, followed your tutelage, or whatever the case is. If you're a regular person like us, you might not need to go on social media and spell out your business. But other than that, if you happen to need an apology crafted by a master communication specialist, please contact Dana Swinney PR because she'll help you out.
Yes,
Absolutely.
Now, we also thank all of you all, of course, for those of you who have already subscribed. And we do want to give a special shout out to 2 of our subscribers. And today's shout out, thank you, round of applause, round of applause, round of applause, round of applause. Today's round of applause for our subby shout outs are to Robin Wallace and Serious Play Theater Ensemble. So thank you for following us on YouTube and for being subscribers.
Thank you so
And
much.
before we get to our subscriber request, we are going to give you an inspirational quote of the day. So today is from Socrates, and Socrates says, "The secret of change is to focus all of your energy not on fighting the old, but on building the new."
Aha.
So as you are walking in grace and understanding we are all human, we
That's
do want to
post-apology.
be really strategic, as our former president said, strategery when it comes to social media.
And speaking of building the new, we would love it if you haven't subscribed yet, that you subscribe, because we're building this new show and we need you to subscribe, share it with others, pass it on. The more the merrier. We love you all.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
So on that note, have a positive, peaceful, and a productive day. And thanks for watching Media Mama TV.
Bye.